an extremely important symbolic figure in secret societies.
If you look at the very first landing strip at Cape Canaveral, where we would be landing aircraft and eventually bringing the space shuttle back, it was runway 33. If you look at the launch pad at White Sands, New Mexico, the only launch pad is launch pad number 33. So it seems to permeate throughout NASA, this number 33 over and over again. And the fact that it's connected to Freemasonry makes you kind of wonder if maybe there was some other deeper symbolism working.
First of all, calling the Earth either round or flat does nothing to the Earth. In a segmented sense, the ground is flat, about 65% of it, but in life there are valleys and peaks, meaning there is mountainous surface that can't be called flat. But the Earth is more than just the ground, it's atmosphere, it's your pumping heart, and its relation to both the moon and the sun. That may seem like an anti-scientific statement because I'm not segmenting my ideas, but the Earth is a series of processes and chemical reactions that are much deeper than a simple explanation of the mere shape of the Earth. Calling the Earth flat or even calling it round is an inadequate reduction. Also, I find it crazy that men who have never been to space would argue the flat, round Earth in the first place. How do you know? I can't deny that satellite images look phony, like composited CGI images. NASA does play an important role in this because they are the country's premier authority on the topic of space outside of the ISS, which is supposed to be an international authority of sorts. The ISS remains a rough orbital height of 330 kilometers. Numerologists would read that as 33 symbolically. You drop the zero, right? But you wouldn't read that as a measurement 33, but you'd read it symbolically 33, right? The Apollo program was carried out at the Kennedy 33 in Reduction Space Center in Cape Canaveral. Cape Canaveral, CC. CC equals 33, CC like Christ consciousness, right? If you type fake moon landing in the Gematrinator, you will get 69, as in 1969, the year it was carried out. To me, NASA is highly untrustworthy as an authority on anything as it relates to space because they've hoaxed moon missions. Some of the astronauts even went as far as to fight people who said they hadn't been to space. I mean, wouldn't you just explain to that individual kindly the logistics of what happened if there wasn't some sort of big secret involved, right? The inconsistencies in the stories and logic to me is a red flag on the events that took place with Apollo 11. A11 work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. If you try to debate or talk about these things publicly, you'll get scientific hitmen like Neil deGrasse Tyson, an obvious Masonic shill to talk down your points. DeGrasse equals 33 in Reduction. Some of you, by the way, call him Neil deGrasse Tyson. It's DeGrasse, niggas, DeGrasse. But I digress. He's an obvious agent of the Masons. Calling the Earth pear-shaped, that should be tips or a truth in plain sight to you that giving a shape name to the Earth means absolutely nothing in the grand scheme of life. You know, he's just naming it just pear-shaped. Like, who gives a fuck, right? Or you have a guy like Elon Musk who is apparently launching rockets into space, which to me is obvious marketing horseshit for his car company to show you how efficient of a builder he is.
Well, if you can build rockets, you can certainly build cars.
You got to be a little bit wiser than that, right? He has a rocket called the Falcon 9. Now, Falcon is 24 in Reduction, but if we just added an I in the Gematrinator, right? Because an I can represent 9, you're going to get 33, right? That's a little bit of algebra that I just used there to show you how this works, right? I use the I in place for the 9, right? You know, all these things are coded. These are coded systems, right? These debates make me uncomfortable because essentially it's rocket science we're talking about. And a lot of times it's dopey podcast guys that are going into debates about these things. Guys with zero access to actual data or real experience with space. What I can deduce about a lot of this is that NASA obviously has something to hide. What that is, I don't know. And I don't know how important it is to my personal life's path. Calling the earth round or flat will not change the reality of death and taxes. So fundamentally, it's an empty concept to even ponder on. Your suffering will not decrease or even increase as a result of finding out the shape of the earth. I don't even have to call the earth Earth, and I could still exist within it. I'm not concerned with getting the terminology right. I do know one thing. Calling the earth flat is anti-intellectualism. It's almost as anti-intellectual as simply calling it round, especially from the perspective of a person who has never been to space.